everyone. Today I have Ziah Sumar, who is one of the corporate immigration lawyers at LM Law Group. Ziah works with many employers who hire international workers, and today we wanted to talk about a very important thing that employers who hire workers on employer-specific work permits need to know, and that's the compliance regime. If you have hired a worker who has a work permit based on an LMIA, or if you have filed a work permit where you submitted what's called an offer of employment on an employer portal, your work doesn't end when the work permit is issued. There are certain compliance requirements that employers need to keep in mind in these kind of situations. So Ziah, let's go over some of these. What's the number one thing that they need to think about?
So the number one thing is to understand and know exactly what terms were put in the offer of employment or the LMIA when the work permit application was submitted. Because it's these conditions of employment that employers need to ensure that they're adhering to throughout the course of employment. So things like the duties of the position, location of work, the salary, all of that, the benefits, all of this is included in the labor market impact assessment or in the offer of employment. And so throughout the employment of the foreign worker, those need to be met.
Now, does that mean that you can't offer a salary increase to employees?
No, it absolutely doesn't. But those salary increases have to be in line with what was put in the offer of employment or the labor market assessment. For a labor market impact assessment work permits, there's certain increases that can be done that follow LMIA compliance.
Okay, and what else do they need to know?
Keep your records. Very important to ensure that you have records to show that you're compliant, because IRCC can come back and do audits up to 6 years following the start of your foreign worker's employment. And during those audits, it's going to be very important for you to be able to show that you have met those conditions. So things like contracts, pay statements, if an individual leaves, when they left, their reason for leaving, all of that could be requested during an audit. So really important to ensure that you have very, very good records.
Okay, what about inspections?
Definitely. So inspections happen. They're becoming more frequent, so really important to be ready for those inspections, and part of that is, like we talked about, making sure you do have good records. And it's really important that when you do get a request for an inspection, that you take it seriously, that you make sure you meet those deadlines, provide the documents that the officer is requesting, because if you are not providing documents or if you don't respond to the compliance, or if you're found non-compliant, there's very serious implications to that, including penalties, financial penalties, bans from the temporary foreign worker program. So really important to make sure that you're responding to compliance inspections.
So what if you look at and review what has been done before and you realize, some things haven't been followed? What should you do at that point?
Well, first, speak to us, come talk to us, because we can review that and see what the options are. But it may involve providing a disclosure to Service Canada or to IRCC proactively to deal with anything.
Why is proactively better than just coming and discovering it on an audit?
Yeah, it's better to be proactive because you're identifying that there's an issue, going back and disclosing that to Service Canada or to IRCC, and showing what steps you've taken to rectify that error. Because errors do happen, but you want to make sure that you're on top of it and going back and dealing with those issues in advance. You don't want to wait until it comes up on a compliance inspection, because the penalties can be more severe at that time. When we look at the compliance inspections and we look at the penalties that can be associated with non-compliance, there are Service Canada and IRCC both give benefits to companies that proactively disclose versus wait for an inspection.
And sometimes it may not be that bad. This may not be as bad as you think, because there are certain allowances depending on the kind of work permit, depending on the kind of circumstances, that may not even contravene the regulations. But if you have any questions about your situation, please come and talk to us. It's better to know what you don't know, and it's better to do what you need to do. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.